Alright, my wife brought me something. You know, my wife's not into modding her car or anything like that, but it was kind of cool to see that she was interested in this for her car. So she wants me to install this for her real quick. So that's what I'm gonna do. It comes with its own tape. I don't know how good that is, but that is gonna all depend on that, how well this installation goes and how well I clean it up. Oh wow, shiny, wow, pretty legit, I'll say, you know, for it being just plastic. Okay, that's the tape. All right, I got the tape on. Now all I gotta do is just pretty much came with some tape, real simple. Oh man, this is gonna take a minute here. I could tell. One of these really sticky tape. Okay, got one. All right, here we go again. Huh? Oh yeah? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, these glues sucks. You see what I'm talking about? Okay. It should just come like off easily, right? You put a nail to it, and this whole thing just comes off. The whole glue comes off. Someone should make a hack of this. I'll be back. Much needed. Now I'm gonna call it a night, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a tricky one. Definitely it's going to be a trial and error tomorrow. So call it a night. I'm gonna sleep on this. Good morning, good morning. Darn, it still looks the same. Okay. Now today, my plan for the day is going to be slapping that tank on. However, I will be chopping some of this subframe off here from the back side, and then I'm going to be working with the extension of the swing arm, because that's going to be my first order here, is to kind of get my seating position right. This is a 17 and the wheel that I plan to put back here is an 18, so I could just think that the wheel is about half the size of the tire, or just say call it the whole circumference diameter. I'm going to be cutting this part, I think, and cutting this part out, taking that top half off, and then remove the shocks, or the shock, the mono rear shock here, and then get the swing arm. Let's see how the bike sits. We're going to drop this down and see how it sits. Here's the first chop, and you can hear all that rust flake. Just feel, oh look at that. All the 30-year-old dirt, all that, so that's out. Let's take a step back. Every time you chop, take a step back and see what you're working with. And right there, starting to look custom already. I think she's ready. Okay, let me get back on this. Just remember, this is not a tutorial. This is just how I build my bikes. Now the next step is I am going to be removing the swing arm. First I was just going to chop it and then extend it, but after thoroughly inspecting this, it's very rusted out. So I'm going to have to do a lot of bracing. Preferably not. Let me see if I have an old swing arm or see how this thing turned out, but I'm gonna have to remove this whole back half and then start grinding down the swing arm. Alright, I don't mind rust, but I do mind freaking rusted in boats, man. It sucks. You can see it's just not baked on, it's almost welded on rust. So a whole lot of banging, and I'm not even done yet. I'm still stuck with this boat that I can't seem to hammer out, and I've used a small hammer, I've used a big hammer, but I'm gonna keep banging. All right, had to whip out the air impact because the small hammer, big hammer wouldn't cut it. Finally got it out. What I had to do was good old die grinder and a few discs, had to cut it out. This is a problem that you also get with the kickstand. That's what I see at the shop. They have a lot of, a lot of bikes that get these worn out bushings on the kickstand, and it's the same problem. You can't hammer it out. And I'm gonna find out, and the reason why is because pretty much that center bolt, which is the bolt that goes through, gets welded to the bushing. So you pretty much have to hammer, that is probably welded onto that bushing, and there's no way to hammer that sucker out. As you can see, I tried hammering it and it just didn't budge. Anyways, we got it out. So now, time for cleaning. Okay, after all that work, now we got it out. We checked the rust to see if it's structural, and I know rust starts from the inside, but I'm not so worried about it because I have a few points of bracing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this swing arm back on the bike, and then we're going to throw this thing on the alignment rack. Got the alignment rack out, and now if we step back and look at this, you can see that this bike is not made to be a chopper. So when you start chopping it, it's going to look really out of proportion. And this is why on all of my choppers, for me, I prefer a very low seat, and you have to extend the swing arm. I want to go for this big front 21 and either a 17 or 18, but I'm steering towards 18. But anyways, I want to give you a quick look, and if you do this, just make sure before you weld things up, make sure you have enough ground clearance. Okay, we got it all welded up. That's how she's looking scale wise. Let me figure out a seat, man. The seat, I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm not sure. What do you guys got? An idea? Springer seat, solid cushion, kings and queen.